Good morning, everybody. I've got my coffee, I got my vape. Let's talk a little. So as you've noticed, I've decided to go with a podcast format. I got a lot of good feedback. Leave a comment if you like this, if you don't like this, and I may go back to the video. So for today, I decided to keep going on last week's theme on negotiating. Today is going to be the negotiating refill. I'm going to share some techniques that I use for a couple of strategies. But first, let's take a sip. Coffee's always good in the morning. So first off, let's review a little bit. Last week we talked about know what you want, which in reselling, that means you've got to know your highest and your lowest price. And I would say for your lowest price, you need to have two prices. You need to have your very lowest that you really want, and you need to know how high you can go and still make a profit. Next, you need to know what the other person wants. How are you going to find that out? Well, as we said last week, start a conversation. Smile, you got to greet them, shake hands before and after, especially if this is going to be a long-lasting relationship, estate sales, things like that. If you have a new client or a new source. If it's just a yard sale, a lot of times it's not convenient to go shake somebody's hand. You're talking across the yard when you first get there. I get that. That's cool. And also, not everybody is open to having the handshake. So you've got to kind of feel that out. That's not a deal breaker. But the biggest thing is you need to ask questions. Ask questions about the items. There's certain items that you can tell that this person is into. If it's vintage electronics, there's a good chance that they're really into it. Not necessarily they're an audiophile, but this may be something that is special to them because a family member passed it down to them. If it's a collectible item, that's a no-brainer. Also find out through your questions, you can find out what their strategy is. You can find out a lot of times if they are wanting to just get rid of their stuff to clear out the space, if they're wanting to get high dollar. You can also feel them out to find out if they're going to be kind of a hard ass, which is fine. That can be fun too. Or if they're just, they want to get out of the heat. That really helps, especially if you're close to the end of the estate sale or the yard sale. A lot of times they're really wanting to get rid of a lot of their stuff. Now, granted, when you do that, you tend to miss a lot of the choice items, but I have found some amazing stuff just at the end. Matter of fact, when I was first resourcing and I would go to estate sales, I would make a pass through everybody, but I would note the items that I want to come back for, and I would go back to those estate sales close to the end of closing, within 30 minutes or so, hour at the tops. And I would walk in, and if anybody knows me, they know that I don't have a problem walking in and announcing my presence. So I'll start off with saying, I'm going to walk around and make a pile, and let's see what kind of deals we can make. That gets us ready and up to speed for this week. So first off, you need to prime the pump. You got to remember a few things. Silence is your friend. You need to find common ground with that person. Now, if they have interest in their items like we were talking about before, then this is a really good one. If it's a common thing that you enjoy, you need to be honest. That's the big thing with this, and I'll preface everything that I'm saying here. You need to be honest. I always go for the win-win. If you're interested in something, be interested in it. Now, that doesn't mean you have to have ever seen it before, but be interested in their passion, because people are more likely to sell to somebody that they know that they're going to be passing their stuff on and they're going to enjoy it, even if they're going to find somebody who is going to enjoy it. I always tell people I'm a reseller. If it comes up, I don't always have an opportunity to, and sometimes it's not necessary. I'm kind of going in and out and it's really quick and it's not necessary for the negotiation. But a lot of times I'm wearing my GoPro and that's kind of a dead giveaway. People love that I'm a reseller. In this area, they actually treat me like I'm a rock star. And I really love that. If I'm upfront with them and I let them know that I'm going to be buying stuff to resell, then it kind of changes the negotiation just a little bit. Now, I've heard from a lot of people it changes it in the bad direction, but it really doesn't for me. I've only had one time where somebody actually kind of got their back up a little bit, and they said, well, don't expect any special pricing if you're just going to resell it. And that's fine with me. That's awesome. I told them right up front, that's great. If I find something I can make money on, then I'm going to bring it to you. If I can't make money on it, then I won't. And that's awesome. So you know what? We actually got to be really good friends towards the end of the sale, and I got some really good stuff at some great prices, and I passed up quite a few things because the price point just wasn't where I wanted it to be. So be interested. Humor is a great way to diffuse any kind of tension. Now, not everybody is good at humor, but if you are, then that is a blessing. If you can get good at humor, then that would be a plus for you. So I've got a couple of strategies that I'm going to talk about. The first one is when the other person offers first. But the next one, I'm going to show you how you can actually do it if you have to give the first offer. You can say, how much is this item? Even if you know there's a price tag on it, you can a lot of times get away with this. And sometimes they don't remember what it is. And this is another good place for silence. How much is this item? How much do you want for it? What do you got to get out of this? Are you willing to sell this? And then you just be quiet. In this instant, he who speaks first loses. And he who speaks first is at a great disadvantage. Now they've given their price. Usually it's going to be real close to what they actually have on the item. And given the type of person, their personality, and their motivation, they're going to give you a high price. And they've set that price because they know, especially at the yard sales and at estate sales, that they're going to have to come down on their price. So you want to counter offer at your lowest price or below that. Remember, there is a threshold to this negotiation as far as the price is concerned. The threshold is where you're going to be negotiating. They're going to be negotiating above the threshold. You're going to be negotiating below the threshold. And it is up to you to change where that threshold is, because at the very beginning, that threshold is going to be the price that the seller wants to sell it for. But you can alter that. You can alter where the discussion is going if you offer below. Even if they get insulted, which I don't run into that very often because of the techniques that I use and that I'm just personable, and because I let people know through my actions and my conversation that I'm interested in a win-win situation. Let's say that they have an item and they want $500 for it. And I would really like to get that item at $50, $50 to $100. Well, then rather than offering them $100 and then that is my baseline and I have to come up from that, I will throw out a lowball offer. At least at my lowest point. But let's just say I throw out $25 and I preface it with, this is really, really crazy offer, and I understand it's a crazy offer. I think I talked about that the last Coffee with Phil. But here's my offer, and smile. You're going to laugh at it. You can go ahead and laugh at it. And if they laugh at it, that's fine. If they get insulted, then you can try to diffuse the situation with humor. Or they may not be open to negotiation to begin with, or they may be intimidated with it. But now what you've done is you've taken the middle point from $150 down to, I don't have the math, Gene, but you can figure that out. And they start talking lower immediately, as long as they're flexible on their price. Now, if there is a stalemate, what I always do, and you've seen this time and time again, if you've seen the American Pickers or just ever, this is pretty standard. If you hit a stalemate, they're at $100, you're at $50. Rather than walk away, you say, hey, we're pretty far away from each other. How about we meet in the middle? Now, the middle is not from the starting point. The middle is from the last offer made, no matter who made it. And you got to know when to bail. If it's too high for you to make money, if you can't get what you want, it's fine for you to bail. Remember that the person selling is more motivated to sell it than you are to buy it. But one of the most important things for me is I end it friendly. It's not a battle. I make sure it's not a battle. Now, you will run across those people that they are really competitive. And in those cases, sometimes I will give a little to get a lot. I will maybe go a little bit higher if I can still make money. That's why I start at my lowest price instead of the price that I'm willing to go to. But I always end it friendly. I always end it with a handshake. Every time we make a deal, I shake their hand. I don't care if they are an 8-year-old, if they're 90 years old, if it's a male or female, it doesn't matter to me. I shake their hand. If they can't shake with the right hand, I'll shake with the left hand, or I'll give them a fist pump. Hey, before we go on, let's take another sip. So that was the other person offering first. Now, what I like to do is I like to offer first, and that goes counterintuitive to the way a lot of people work. But I find that a lot of times, if I offer first, then I am in control of where that threshold is. So again, I will offer at or below the lowest price. And again, silence is your friend. So I do all of the priming the pump, which is very important. I'll throw out that lowball offer, which again is my lowest amount that I'm comfortable with, or below it. And I'm reading the person the whole time. And a lot of times I will go with that, hey, this is just a crazy offer, but would you take? In other words, they're doing you a favor. This is psychology. People want to do you favors. I heard once that the best way to gain a friend is to let them do you a favor, not the other way around. My whole entire life, I thought the best way to make friends was to do favors for people. But that actually works counterintuitive, because now they're beholden to you, and a lot of people, and I'm one included, would rather give to somebody than take from somebody. I don't feel beholden to that person. But if you allow somebody to do you a favor, you've made them feel good about themselves. You've allowed yourself to be vulnerable. In the back of their heads, they've got that, well, this person is beholden to me a little bit. And it lets you know that you trust them. It's psychology. So allow them to do that. Make it feel like they're kind of giving a little bit, but you really, really appreciate it, and it really help you out. You let them laugh about it, but you've already changed the threshold. Now, when they give you their counter offer, then that's where you start negotiating from. And then you just repeat the steps that we've already talked about. So key points: give a little to give a lot. Bundle. Bundle is a really good strategy. I will only negotiate prices while I'm shopping if it's something huge. Something that I want to pull out, and I want to make sure that I get a really good price on it, or to break the ice. Because sometimes you're in a situation where the person they're really in love with their stuff, but they need to sell it, and they just need to break the ice a little bit and find out how the negotiations is going to go. So sometimes I will do that. Otherwise, I just let them know, hey, is there some place where I can pile up a bunch of stuff? They love that, because in the back of their mind, they're thinking this guy's going to buy a lot of stuff. That's a lot less people I have to sit here and be nice to. I'm going to get out of here quicker, and my stuff is going to be gone quicker. So they love the pile up. And then when you pile it all up, what I generally do, rather than volunteer itemizing the things. I just ask, what would you take for all of this? And again, silence. Lonnie from Garage Picks and Cincinnati Picker and Kevin from Tennessee Picker were down for the Highway 70 yard sale. And they put out some videos and they had some really good negotiating tips. And I will link those videos down in the description. Lonnie did one, and he gets a lot of grief for the way he negotiates. But he had one happen that he didn't plan, but it was golden. Now, I got to preface this with saying I never talk people's products down. If anything, I talk it up, or I say nothing at all. But he brought a lady an item, and I don't remember the price. He asked for the price on it, and she said $5. Well, he was actually just kind of thinking and looking at it, which is another nugget. She actually brought the price down. I don't know if it was $1 or $2 while he was being silent. Now, it's important when you're being silent. There's a couple of strategies with this, and we're going to rabbit hole just a little bit with that. One of them is looking the person in the eye, but don't look the person in the eye in a mean, I'm going to get you kind of way. Just kind of look at them, and I smile. I smile, and I look at them, and I'm friendly, and I hold their gaze. The other thing I do is I think about it. I think about their offer, and I'm really thinking about it, so it's not it's not role playing at all. I'm really thinking about their offer. I'm thinking, well, can I actually make money on this? Is this going to be good for me? Can I give a little bit on this one so I can get on another one? All these different things. But people hate uncomfortable silence. People hate to say no to people. This is psychology. So if you give them that little bit of time, that little bit of space, and you will figure out what that sweet spot is there. You give them that little bit of space, and their wheels are going, well, maybe my stuff is overpriced, blah, blah, blah. I really like this person. They're buying a whole lot of things, whatever, but you're giving them time to think, and they're not on the defensive. So they will tend to say yes to your offer, to give you a better counter offer than they would have otherwise, or what have you. So that was a really, really good technique. Now, John is awesome at asking for the price and countering with, well, will you take? He isn't stupid about it. There are those people that just love negotiation, and that's the reason they're there. And if they don't get a discount on it, then they're leaving. It doesn't matter the price. And I'm not saying anything bad about that. More power to you. If they're just having fun with the whole negotiating thing, and that's awesome. But giving a fair price is kind of important. I won't negotiate on a dollar item if I'm going to make $25, $50, $60 on something. If it's $40 and I'm going to make $200, I don't have to get lower than that. I am just happy with the fact that for whatever reason, this person is selling it, has set the price, has set what they want at a low enough price that I can make really, really good money from this. And I lost my train of thought where I was going with that, so I'm hoping I haven't gone down too big a rabbit hole with that. Oh, I remember. So John is really, really good at saying, hey, will you take this? And then when they say yes, say, man, I really appreciate that. He pets the dogs because he loves dogs. People love their pets. That's something you can definitely have in common with him. He's really nice to them the whole time. And if he's not going to take their offer, if they come to an impasse, he doesn't do it rudely. He just says nothing. Sometimes he'll go, huh, but he doesn't insult the person. He just lets it lie and moves on to something else as quickly as possible. And I use that too, and I think that's really good. So we've talked about knowing what you want, knowing what they want, priming the pump, starting the conversation, be friendly with people, and a couple of strategies, what you can do if the other person offers first, and what you can do if you have to offer first. And I'll end with this. Always end well. I know I've said it before quite a few times in this little coffee session, but always end well. There's no reason to leave the other person, even if that person is a jerk. I try to leave it well. Even if they are just in it for the game and they win, that's fine. I still leave it well, especially if I'm going to have a continuing relationship for this person. I've got to figure out how to have a win-win relationship with them, or I have to figure out that this is somebody that I can't have one and I'm never going to go back to them. And I have quite a few of those people, especially with estate sales. But the most important thing is have fun. If you're having fun, then all those other things will happen. You set people at ease, you're at ease, and at the end of the day, you have what you have. Yeah, there's going to be some things that you're going to kick yourself because you passed up. There's going to be the ones that got away. And you know what? That's kind of cool too, because those are kind of cool stories. So on that note, let's take another sip. Comment on my strategies. They may not be for you. You may actually have some tweaks, and I would really appreciate that. You might have some new ideas or some different ways that you do it. Let me know in the comments. And again, read those comments, guys. I'm going to always ask people their strategies, how they do business, how they relate to people, how they negotiate, and you're going to get some great nuggets that are going to save you oodles of time and help you along. If you're new to this channel, take a look around. If you like what you see, please think about subscribing. Like or dislike, both of those are good. I love constructive criticism. Share this video if you know somebody that you think might enjoy it, and hit that ringy-dingy thing so that you're notified next time I make a video. And as always, no matter what tune that life plays you, always find your groove. Thanks for having coffee with me. Thanks for talking about negotiating with me, and have a great day. Bye.